Hi, beautiful soul. I'm Mickey. Over the past couple of weeks, we have been building something together. Not just information, a foundation. First, we explored why growth can't happen in fight or flight. Then, we talked about automatic negative thoughts and how learning to respond instead of react begins to change our relationship with the mind. And today, we're taking the next step. Because once you understand your nervous system and you understand your thoughts, there's a natural question that arises. Okay, but what do I actually do in the moment when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel triggered, when my body is activated before my mind can catch up? What then? Today, I want to share with you something incredibly simple, but also incredibly powerful, a tool that most people have never been taught, even though your body already knows how to do it. It's called the physiological sigh, and it's one of the fastest ways to regulate your nervous system in real time. Now, before I explain it, I want to name something important. A lot of people will hear nervous system regulation and think, okay, I just need to calm down. But that framing can actually create more pressure, because when you don't calm down quickly, you feel like you're doing it wrong. So let's shift that. This isn't about forcing you to be calm. It's about creating just enough space for your system to soften, even just a little. The physiological sigh works like this. First, you take a slow inhale in through your nose, and then at the top of that inhale, you take a second, shorter inhale, like a sip of air, like that. And then you'll exhale slowly through your mouth on a sigh. That's it. One breath. But here is what's happening underneath the surface. That second inhale helps reopen the tiny air sacs in your lungs, which increases oxygen exchange and signals to your brain, we're safe enough. And that long exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part that's responsible for rest, repair, and regulation. So let's try it together. Just wherever you are, you'll take a slow inhale in through your nose, and then sip in just a little more air at the top, and then slowly exhale through your mouth on a sigh. Again, I'll do it with you. And just notice, not trying to feel dramatically different, just noticing, is there even 2% more space in your body? Because here is the truth. Regulation isn't about going from overwhelmed to peaceful instantly. It's about creating enough space to choose your next step. And this is where today's second concept comes in: compassionate discipline. Most of us were taught discipline in a very harsh way. Push harder, be better, do more, try again, but this time, don't mess it up. And while that might create more bursts of motivation for us, it's just not sustainable, because it puts the nervous system right back into threat, which means you end up in the same cycle. Push, burn out, avoid, shame, repeat. Compassionate discipline is different. It says, I can show up for my life without abandoning myself in the process. It's not about lowering your standards, it's about changing the energy that you bring to those standards. And this is where everything we've been talking about comes together. Because when you pair regulation with gentle structure, something really powerful happens. You begin to build your own self-trust, not through perfectionism, not through pressure, through consistency. Small, honest returns. Baby steps. This is something that we explored together in this week's live Metta Moment inside the Sangha. Through the image of walking a forest path where every step forward represents a promise that you kept to yourself. Not the big dramatic ones, the quiet ones. Taking breath instead of spiraling, pausing instead of reacting, trying again, even when it's messy. That is how resilience grows, quietly, over time. So, instead of asking, how do I fix everything at once, we begin to ask, what's one small, kind step I can take from here? And sometimes that step is just one breath. So here is a simple way to bring this into your daily life. The next time you feel activated, try this sequence instead. First, pause. I mean it. Pause. Second, take one physiological sigh. And then ask yourself, what would a compassionate next step look like right now? Not a perfect step, not a productive step, a compassionate one. This is how we begin to shift from reaction to response, from pressure to presence, from control to trust. And over time, this becomes a new way of being. Inside the Metta Momentum Sangha, this is exactly what we're practicing together right now. This month's theme is safety, regulation, and compassionate discipline. Inside the community, you will find guided nervous system practices, live weekly meditations twice a week, reflection prompts, study guides, and a space where you can actually practice this work with other humans. And if you want to go deeper, inside the premium community, we have the full training on the physiological sigh, including guided practices and integration tools. If this resonates with you, I would love to invite you in. The Sangha is completely free to join. You can come as you are. No pressure, no performance, just practice. You'll find the link in the description below. And until next time, remember this: you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to create a little more space, a little more kindness, one small moment of return. take a breath, and I'll see you inside the Sangha. Namaste.